Today, we'll be discussing with senior thought leaders and partners about the supply chain ecosystem. Let's connect on idxtv.com for more comprehensive coverage. Let's talk. Good afternoon. My name is Claudia, and I am with IDX. We are here at Manifest Expo 2025, Day 1. Here we have our special guest, Chris Condon, the founder of AirCon. Chris, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having us. I appreciate the invite.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we were talking in length a little bit earlier about AirCon and how it came to fruition and the brilliant leader that is you behind it. Just give me a quick rundown historically of how you created AirCon, what it is today, and basically your mission statement.
All right, fair enough. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, AirCon started off as a freight consolidator for small to medium-sized freight business because I was a small freight forwarder prior and I wasn't able to compete through consolidation and have scale and whatnot. So that's why we started AirCon, was really to leverage the small to medium-sized freight forwarder, because about 84% of global trade in air freight is actually moved by small, medium-sized freight forwarders that you and I have never heard of. The big boys, that we all know, represents about 15 to 18%. So that's why we started. But we also, about 8 months ago, we found out that one of the challenges we had was our customers going to our platform, keying in the information, whatnot. And they say, Chris, I love what you guys are doing, love the consolidation, but I don't want to go to another platform. If I get the shipment, I'll go to your platform and check it out. So we developed what we call Captain Cargo, which is an LL AI agent that would digest the emails from our customers, put the data in a manner that we can digest it, and then respond to a quote within 30 seconds, right? So door to airport, all our stuff is all international. And then a light bulb went out. It's like, hey, if this is helping us, and just give you some stats on that, is we're doing between 800 and 1,500 quotes a day with about 4 hours worth of man hours on it. And those 4 man hours are really what we call spot quotes for out of gauge stuff. So DG, unknown shippers, those type of things. But the light bulb went off. It's like, hey, if this is helping us do 800, 1,500 quotes, when the average freight forwarder can do about 20, 25 quotes a day, it's kind of a game changer for them. So if we can put this in front of the freight forwarder, so their shipper or their customer, the shipper or consignee, can just email them and they can get their rate back with their margin, their accessorials, and those type of things instantly, is what we started Captain Cargo, which we just launched in January, by the way. And it's we got 6 customers on contract already the first month, and we got about 15 on the hook hopefully for this month. So exciting and scared all at the same time.
Yeah, terrified and doing it anyway. Well, that's really awesome. So I think that you guys have so much value to give these forwarders. Like what are the statistics behind it? What's the percentage of this positive outcome for using your service?
So speed to quote or speed to market is really probably the biggest thing. Most freight forwarders believe is between 40 and 50% increase in their conversion if they're the first to quote, and rate is really secondary. We've tested that internally. When we launched Captain Cargo, our win percentage went up 40%, and our revenue grew 2.5x in that first 90 days of implementing it. And so it did validate what we heard from the market and those type of things. So that's why we're building it. We're soon to be have door to door to 240 countries around the world. So like if you're sitting here in Vegas and your customer is in London, and the consignee is in South Africa, you can sit here through our platform and through Captain Cargo, get a door-to-door rate from London to Joburg from Vegas within less than a minute.
Less than a minute?
Less than a minute. So there's other benefits, obviously, that is it also reduces your transit time, right? So if you think of most global trade, right, there's a 24 to 48 hours from a quote.
Right.
And then if something goes wrong, it's like, okay, another 24 to 48 hours. Right? So as a U.S. freight forwarder, so our customers, we're focused today on U.S. freight forwarders, is they can come in the morning dealing with their shipments, not worrying about their quotes. Right? And so it's kind of a game changer for them, in our opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that you mentioned that you're very passionate about air freight in particular. Why did you select that?
Well, air freight. I fell in love with air freight back in 2005-ish. Man, I'm old. There's a couple things what I love about air freight. One, it's the decisions are made relatively quickly, right? Because they either need, if it's an moment, they obviously need their product now, so you're not waiting weeks and weeks for a decision. So I like that. The money is obviously a lot better. Air freight represents about 1% of global trade. But it represents between 15 and 30% of the revenue for these large multinationals, right? So if you look at, pick whatever multinational you want, Maersk, Kuehne+Nagel, Expeditors, et cetera, the revenue that they receive from air freight is anywhere from 15 to 35%, right? Off of 1% of global trade, right? Versus 70% in ocean. So I like the money. This is right. I follow the air freight.
Plain and simple. That's just what it is. Transparency is key. So. Yeah, and so Chris, like, how did you even get into just logistics and the supply chain industries? I'm very curious to know people's background.
That story. So my mom was one of the first female executives at Burlington Northern back in the late 70s, early 80s. Mm-hmm. So we moved to Seattle when I was like 5 years old, and but when I was doing my career, I didn't want to use my mom's name, if you will, right? I wanted to do my own thing. So in college, I was selling Cutco knives, which I don't know if you know what Cutco knives are or not, but it's basically door-to-door sales.
Door-to-door knives, yeah.
And once I got past my family, selling knives to my family, it was not a good gig for me.
No.
I only have 2 months of summer break, right? So I started work for a company called Tower Group International, which became FedEx Trade Networks at some point as a summer job. And then by whatever summer it was, I'm like, hey, this is something I enjoy. And so I started there and then went to Expeditors for 14 years or so, and really cut my teeth. Expeditors was a great training ground for me, because each branch at the time was very entrepreneurial, like you owned your own P&L. So between, obviously not me, but my bosses and coworkers, we were always on the same path of how do we grow our business. Not so much of the corporation, but how do we grow, like in this case, El Paso was our thing. So El Paso, we grew El Paso basically nothing to, from a fulfillment stand, the largest in the network at some point. So I'm pretty excited about that, or I learned a lot from there. That's how I learned air freight. That's actually where I learned one of our other co-founders, Wakefield. He was a central region gateway manager for Expeditors, is how I met him. And he's the one who taught me everything I know about air freight. So. So yeah, he's our founder, and then our other founder is Dennis, came to us from Data Robot. So the analytics, the ML, AI, it's crazy in my mind how these smart people can grasp like how to do this stuff, right? Like I'm just a freight guy.
Yeah, you're just a freight guy.
I think I know how it should work, but and I think that's the magic we have is like we have the tech side of it that understands the business. So one of the things what the merge of Dennis in AirCon was he wanted to build something that solved the problem, right? Not just have tech to have tech, but solve a problem. And that's one thing I think we're somewhat unique on is that we are all, so my background is logistics, Earl's background is logistics, our head of sales, she was a gateway manager for DHL, and then a head of sales for AMI for a long time. So really the industry, so we know how it works. And air freight is, let's be real, there's 14 to 16 different companies that can touch each individual shipment. So the fragmentation of that is crazy from the truckers to the airline to the TSA to custom, it's all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a scramble.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that this is not your first manifest that you've.
This is my first manifest.
Okay.
So we are VC backed. So Schematic Ventures out of San Francisco. Underscore out of Boston, and Plug and Play out of San Francisco are the three major investors in AirCon. And we're in the middle of a round right now. And so I was talking to our investors, and they said, "Hey, you need to go to Manifest. Every VC that invests in supply chain will be there." So, and it's been great. And I have 24 meetings, and it's like, my gosh, you got to take time into consideration for walk time.
It's a little bit. You definitely have to turn on your watch to record
Record your steps.
your indoor walk.
Right.
You'll definitely hit a little over a mile. So that's really interesting that that's your first manifest. And being that it is day one, of course we have day two coming. But like what have been the key takeaways so far for you? Any talks that have really jumped out at you? Any discussions with people?
Well, first the meetings are relatively quick, right? So it's kind of like speed dating, right? It's kind of a high meet and greet and type deal. But I will say that all of them have been meaningful so far, where we have actions or next steps, at least most of them. I'm excited about the different meetups or mixers. I came in late yesterday, so I missed 2 of the events last night, but look forward to just kind of letting my hair down and
Absolutely.
enjoying the time together tonight.
Well, maybe we'll see you at Lil Jon at Omnia tonight.
Okay.
That's Wabi. Yeah.
Oh, Little John and Omnia. Okay.
last song I think he was in was like 05 or something. I was actually listening to Snap Your Fingers this morning, and I was like, I think I know that guy. Well, that's really cool that you're not only taking from Manifest, but you're also of course contributing. Because you guys have so much value and definitely a service that's needed.
Thank you.
So what is next for you on the agenda in terms of shows or just a couple action items?
Well, so for here we still have. I'm not sure how to answer that correctly, but we obviously have more meetings. Why am I drawing a blank? For the year?
Yeah. Like what?
So there's different conferences. So we're from AirCon perspective, we're on several different like we're in the WCA obviously, which it seems like everybody is, the NAP, the AFA, and they all do different conferences that we'll be attending, really for networking more than anything else.
Of course.
Because I do think the freight forwarding community is a community, and we really want to leverage that. Young age, I don't know if because of sports, whatever, but you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know, and so make sure you have people around you that are better at you at the things that you're not very good at. So, like IDX, I met it, probably 8 months ago when I was in London or whatever, and didn't really understand what they were doing, and then a year later, it's like, oh, I get it, right?
Right.
So I think that's great.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're definitely going to see you at future events. We're
for sure.
Really looking forward to that.
For sure.
And so Chris, I want to thank you so very much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know you and AirCon. And for everyone else tuning in, my name is Claudia. This is Chris, and thank you so very much. We will see you later.
All right. Thank you.